Hello and welcome to the Jesus Podcast. My name is Jesus. I am your personal Jesus. You don't believe me? All you need to do is leave a comment down below and I will get back to you, unlike the real Jesus. Well, I mean, he might get back to you. I'm not saying that he doesn't exist nor that he isn't real or the God of heaven above or whatever you want him to be. I'm just saying you'll definitely know if I get back to you. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so on today's podcast, it's going to be kind of interesting. So I'm going to call my mom. I've got my phone out right here. I should probably get that ready. I'm going to call my mother, and I'm going to ask her about my great-great-grandmother named Mamita. I don't even know what her last name is, to be honest with you. I just know her as Mamita. And this is this mythical woman who, palled around with a ghost, was able to foresee into the future, stuff like that, stuff that I find hard to believe, but they were interesting stories. I mean, there's a ghost story. The ghost name, I even know the name of the ghost. Dona Josefita. She was the ghost in my family. So I'm going to call my mom. I'm going to put it on speakerphone and we'll see. First of all, let's just see if she has time, right? She might not have time. She loves the Hallmark Channel.
Hello?
Hello, Mother.
No, son. What's up?
What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm just laying down in bed. Why?
Good. Then you have time to talk, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Then we can talk about Mamita. Remember we talked. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're currently live on the interwebs.
Oh,
Okay, but
so we're live.
yeah, we're live. Okay, so first of all, I don't even know what Mamita's last name is. I just know her as Mamita.
Casimira Cubillos.
Casimia Cuvillo.
Cubillos is the last name.
I gathered. I gathered. But her real name was what?
Casimira.
Casimira?
Uh-huh.
What would that be in English?
Yes. Casimir, I don't know. She was born on March the 4th. I don't know what year. My cousin Sylvia knows. And she was born under the saints. The saint's day was Prince Casimir of Poland.
Okay.
And so they named her Casimira.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'm not going to argue with that. Where was she born?
She was born in Pinos, Zacatecas, Mexico.
Okay, hold on. I screwed up my mic. Okay, we're back. Well, we didn't go anywhere. I just had to fix my mic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, so she was born in Zacatecas, Mexico?
Pinos. Pinos is the name of the city. Zacatecas is the county, and Mexico is Zacatecas is
I think that would be the state.
state. Yeah,
Yeah.
the state, I'm sorry. And
That's
then
okay.
Mexico's a country.
Yeah. So she was born in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I guess she migrated to Texas because that's where my grandmother was born, in San Antonio, Texas.
Yes.
So I assume that her family moved there.
Yes. They immigrated into Texas.
Just out of curiosity, when they immigrated, was Texas a state?
Yes.
I don't know.
They immigrated in 1920.
Okay.
Because
Why? Just out of curiosity.
because her husband Esteban Cubillos, there was he just liked to wander. His family owned a blacksmith shop,
Yeah.
and that's my great grandfather and my great grandmother. They had a big hacienda ranch.
Oh, really?
Where they had cattle and grew grains.
And that was in.
In Pinos.
Okay. All right. So we've got all that established.
So yeah, they didn't come for necessity, because there wasn't a heat. I mean, there's both of the families. My great grandmothers, they had the cattle ranch, and my great grandfathers, they had the blacksmith shop.
Okay, then this is my question. Now, this is the part of the family that is Basque, right? Like they came from like northern.
No. That's the Arriaga side.
Okay, all right. We'll get to that later. All right, we're here to talk about Mamita. Okay, so she grew up there as a child, and then what happened one day? Because this is the interesting story. This is just like one day. What is she doing, and what happens with the taco?
Oh, about the taco.
Yeah.
Okay. The legend, because it's a legend,
Right.
But it goes that when
Now, who told you the story? That's probably a better question.
Mom, my mother, your grandmother.
Okay, she told you the story.
She told us the story.
And who told her the story?
Casimira, my great grandmother.
Your great grandmother. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
my great grandmother. During World War II, when my mother's uncle was in the service, he was in the army overseas.
Are you sure it was World War II?
World War II, yeah.
Okay, all right.
But this is how, if you want to know how the story came.
Okay, all right. Okay.
My great grandmother wanted somebody to stay with her. And they all lived in Needles in the small town. So my grandmother asked my mother to go and stay with her grandmother at her house. So she did, and during that time, and your grandma said, she was concerned about her son being in the war and far away and not knowing where he was and all that, and she just started telling my mother.
And what is Grandma's name? What is
Deca.
my grandma? Deca or Aurora?
Aurora.
Yeah, Aurora.
Okay.
All right.
So Casimira started telling Aurora the story of her growing up. And one of the stories was about this lady that she named her, Casimira named her as a child, Dona Josefita.
Josefita or Josefina?
Josefita.
Josefita, okay.
And that's just the same thing as Josefa, but Josefita being, little woman.
Right.
Anyway, when she was young, and they lived at the hacienda where they had the cattle, she would go out into the courtyard and she would see this woman dressed in black with her hand out, like if she wanted something. So Casimira would go.
How old was Casimira at this time?
She was about, she had seen her all her life.
Okay, all right. She'd seen her whole life. Okay.
Yeah, she did. So this was nothing new. And her parents and her older siblings all they would have to do was cuss out this Dona Josefita, and she would disappear.
So everybody saw her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, It wasn't just Casimira. No, everybody could see her. And so, but she would always try to see her face, and she could never see the lady's face, Josefita's face, because she would always turn, but she always had her hand out. So Casimira would always go to the kitchen and ask somebody to give her a taco, and she would take it to the lady because she assumed that that's why she had her hand out, that she was hungry.
Right.
But you know, as all kids do, she'd go off and she would always find the taco there where she had left it. But that's what she did.
Okay, so she would get a taco from her mother, right?
Yeah.
My great-grandmother, Mamita, would get a taco from her mother.
Uh-huh.
And then try and give it to Dona Josefita.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how would she try and give it to her?
Well, she'd give it to her in her hand, and the lady would take it, and then she'd go off and do what she did, because she was not afraid of the.
Right. So she would give the. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
She never
So she would give her the taco, and then like, okay, now that you got your taco, I'm gonna go now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she would, and then she'd go out there and the taco was there, or whatever it was she gave her, because she always figured if she had her hand out, she must want food.
Right.
Even though she didn't eat it.
Right.
But, and when she would tell her mom or her about Dona Josefita being out in the courtyard, they go out and cuss her out and she'd disappear.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But Casimira was not afraid of her because she had seen her all her life.
Right.
You know, so she was just one of those curious children that since she had seen her all her life, she wasn't afraid.
Right.
Now, the story goes that this Dona Josefita, and that's what she named her. Who knows?
Right. Who knows who she was? We don't know.
Who she was, but that's what she decided she was going to call her. She was always dressed in black, and she could never see her face because they wore those
veils.
The shawls around their face.
Yeah, the lace shawls. Like if she were in church.
She was in black. She was all in black.
Okay.
And so it was a black shawl over her face and around her shoulders and what have you. And you have to remember this was like in the late 1800s.
Right.
So the dress was. The legend goes that these people migrated from Spain, and they didn't. This couple, they migrated, and they were wealthy, and they brought over their servants with them, and these servants had these little girls who were very mischievous.
Okay.
And one day they did something and scared the lady of the house, and she said that when she died, she was going to haunt them for 5 generations.
Oh, really? Okay.
And apparently Mamita was the last generation because my great aunts, her daughters, never met the lady. And but she would always see her. Now, one of the funny things is that when they came to the United States...
So wait a second. Let me get something straight.
What?
The little mischievous girls were my ancestors.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
They were the ancestors.
They were the ancestors. And they were so precocious, they scared the woman to death, or they just scared her and she sold them?
I don't remember whether they scared her to death or whether they scared her and she fell or something, and she told them that she was going to haunt them for 5 generations.
Oh, so quite a few people grew up with this little.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody and all the relatives obviously would see her because Casimira would tell my mom that she said, yeah, they weren't afraid of her, but they didn't like her around, so that all they had to do was cuss her out and she'd disappear. Which was funny. But
So
anyway.
did Nati ever tell this story?
No.
No.
They knew about it, and I'll tell you why. Because
Now let's tell everybody who Nati is.
Nati is my great aunt,
Right.
which was my grandmother's sister.
Right. Which is so weird that I was old enough to know Nati, but not Mamita. I find that.
Well, no, Mamita was their mother.
Oh, okay. Then never mind. Okay.
Why would you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then
No.
Okay.
Mamita was their mother.
Okay. All right.
Or Casimira was their mother.
Okay.
She was my great grandmother.
Okay. That makes more sense.
So great grandmother Casimira, when she came to the United States.
She was Grandma Becerra's sister.
Yeah, Nati
Okay.
was Grandma Becerra's.
Who was my great aunt.
Yes, she was your great aunt.
Great aunt.
Because Nati was my great aunt, and which was my grandmother's sister. So she was my great aunt.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
All right.
Hello?
Hello, hi, David. This is grubhub driver. I'm in front of your building.
Okay, thank you.
You will come down?
Yeah, I'm coming down. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
That was Grubhub. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pause this.
What happened?
Grubhub's here.
Oh.
Hold on 1 second. This is so funny.
Okay. What are you getting?
I'm not getting anything. Vanessa's getting something. In fact, I don't want to. Shoot.
Go on, go do what you're gonna do.
All right, just wait 1 second.
I'm not going anywhere. I don't have anything else to do.
I didn't want to stop podcasting, so I just told Vanessa to go get she who should not be named.
Oh.
Too late. All right. Anyway, so yeah, go on. So why wouldn't they talk about it? Go. How could she be your okay if she's okay? So let me. Either Mamita and Nati are sisters,
Daughter, sister, mother,
then she would be your
daughter.
great aunt, not your great aunt.
I didn't say she was my great aunt. She was Mamita was my great aunt.
Yes.
My
Okay.
grandmother, my great grandmother.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Not
So
my grandmother, but my great.
right. Great. Okay. All right. We'll figure it out.
Well, okay. It goes this way: Casimira,
Mm.
Aurea, Aurora, and me.
Okay. All right. I get it.
Okay, and Nati was my grandmother's sister.
Right.
So that it makes her my great aunt.
Yes. I got it. I understand now.
Okay.
All right.
Because okay, you're gonna confuse me. So then they crossed the border,
Right.
and apparently Casimira, my great great grandmother, had mentioned Dona Josefita for years, and they'd never seen her because she was the 5th generation, so that was the last of her hauntings, was to the fifth generation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was to my grandmother.
Right.
And when they crossed the border and came to the United States, Dona Casimira didn't cross the border.
She didn't? Oh,
Never saw her
Dona
again.
Josefita didn't cross the border.
No, she didn't. That's what I find is funny.
She didn't cross the border.
She never saw her again, but
Oh.
she would come to her in dreams.
Okay.
And two distinct dreams was they had accumulated money, and my great
Grandmother.
my grand aunt
Okay.
Nappy
Mm-hmm.
wanted my Casimira to put her money in the bank for safe, and Casimira didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
She said no, and she said yes, put it in the bank. And then she told her, she said, look, Dona Josefita came to me in a dream and said, don't put your money in the bank. And Nati said, oh, that's a bunch of wives' tales, and you're just making things up, and we're putting the money in the bank. They put in the money in the bank, and that was when they had the 1929 crash.
Oh.
So she lost all her money.
Wow.
Now, it wasn't a lot of money, but she still lost it all.
Right.
And Dona Josefita had told her not to put it in the bank.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was the one instant,
Mm-hmm.
the one of the two instances I know. The
What happened-
second one-
What happened when Mamita went to take the money to the bank?
I don't know. She put it in the bank.
I thought she saw a shadow fall across the bank as she walked in.
Oh yeah, I forgot that part. That's right, she did. She saw a shadow, and she didn't want to go in, but Nati was very persistent with her mother.
I could see
She
that.
said, we can't be keeping this. We're putting it in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she did. Now the other instance that I know of is that when my uncle, who
Mhm.
was 10 years old, died.
What was that uncle's name?
Angel. But they always called him Nene.
Nene. Okay.
Yeah, which means baby
Mm-hmm.
in Spanish, or little kid, little child. But anyway, his name was Angel, Jose Angel. He died, and apparently years later they surmised that he probably died from appendicitis.
Mm.
But they even had the doctor come and everything, but it was too late. He died.
Oh. It's terrible.
And yeah, because there was two doctors in a small town, and one was out in some ranch delivering a baby, and the other one was somewhere else. So by the time they both got there at the same time, he was gone.
Oh. It's terrible.
And
Oh. Okay.
so when he died, my grandmother told my mom, says, go tell your grandma, go tell Casimira. So she went, and they lived on the other side of town, and she was walking over there.
And they were in Needles, right?
Yeah, they were in Needles. And Mamita was already coming, and she was asking her, who died? Who died? And which one was it? Which one was it? And she could see it wasn't my mom, because she was coming to tell her.
Mm-hmm.
But Dona Josefita had already told her, you have to go see your daughter because one of her children died. And so she was already on her way to the house because Dona Josefita had told her that one of her daughter's children had died. So then my mom said, oh, well, it was Nene. And so that's the other instance that I know that she told her that she needed to go and see her daughter, because her son had. Well, no, she didn't say. She said one of her children had died. She didn't tell her who, because she had to ask my mom which one, who died.
Right.
So, and those are the only two instances that I know. And these are stories that she told my mother while my mom was there with her during, well, her son or my mother's uncle, who happened to be only a year older than my mother. That was Genaro. That was her son, and he was. This was during World War II. So that's why my mom remembered, and she remembered all those things. But she said, you were a teenager, you weren't interested in asking questions. You just heard what she had to say because that's what she was talking about.
Right.
But she said she never. But that's what and they all knew that there was a Dona Josefita, but they never saw her.
Oh, yeah?
No, they never saw her. Just Mamita did in Mexico. But when she came across the border, she would come to her in dreams. So I said, okay, so she wouldn't cross the border. She didn't want to be an illegal. I don't know.
I find that strange. Wait, didn't Uncle Robert, your brother, didn't he see her as a child in the house?
No.
No, who did he see as a ghost in her house? He said he saw a ghost in her house and that she, told him to calm down and that everything was okay, and that was the first time she ever showed him love.
I don't know that story.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that story.
Oh, that was a story he told me one day.
It could be.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know that story. Now, when I was growing up, I was afraid of everything. So, man, I'd say, don't come visit me because I don't want to see anybody. No. But see, that was the thing that Casimira was the 5th generation, so she was the last. That was the last gen. Her and her brothers and sisters were the last ones to see Dona Josefita.
Okay.
So.
All right, Mom. Well, I think that was a good story. We didn't go too long, but it was interesting. We had a little pause and break. Could you describe what Mamita looked like? Because is that the picture of that woman in the hallway next to the soldier? Is that her?
Yes. Wait a minute. In the hallway.
Isn't there a picture of an small old woman standing next to a really tall guy? Black hair, fresh from the war.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
My phone ringing. My phone's ringing. I gotta answer it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye. Okay, so that's going to end this week's podcast of the Gezus Podcast. My mom has to answer a phone. I hope you found that interesting. I'm sorry for the pause in the middle there, and you got to hear my grubhub call. So I'm going to sign off and just say that, fail. Fail hard, fail often, because when you fail, you know exactly where you are, how good you are at what, and what needs to be done. And now you can work on your way of how to get to where you want to be. So without failure, you'll never know how well you're doing. All right? Peace, love one another, and cheers.